In 1957, a woman named Velma Orlikau sought treatment for mild depression at a hospital in Montreal. However, her departure was nothing short of tragic. She could no longer recognize her own husband. Her doctor, Ewen Cameron, had not healed her. He had erased her mind. Weeks blurred by under drug-induced sleep, as recorded messages were piped into her ears for up to 16 hours a day, repeated hundreds of thousands of times. Cameron was no obscure figure. He was the president of the American Psychiatric Association and held a reputable position. Yet he pursued his work quietly under a contract. This was no rogue experiment. It had financial backing, file numbers, and men in suits who were convinced they were protecting their nation. The goal was straightforward, yet monstrous. To dismantle a human mind, find its seams, and figure out precisely where a person ends and a puppet begins. What should unsettle you is this: the techniques honed within those walls did not remain confined there. They seeped out into offices, into relationships, and even into the screen you are viewing right now. Because the real revelation was never about how to break a stranger in a locked room. It was about how little effort it takes to break anyone once they trust you. We like to consider the mind as an impregnable fortress. Thick walls, a secure gate, a guard that answers solely to us. But this is not the case. The mind is a negotiation. Anyone adept in the rules of this negotiation can take a seat at the table without your awareness. Here is the question that this entire film explores. Not how to torture a person. That is easy to guess. The real question is far stranger. Why do people willingly walk into their own destruction and express gratitude to their destroyer? Why did Cameron's patients, despite being intelligent and educated, plead for one more session? Why do cult members defend the person draining them dry? Why does someone in a toxic relationship apologize to the one inflicting pain upon them? A pattern underlies all these situations. A small set of techniques documented in court files and declassified reports that work on nearly everyone. Chains are not needed. Instead, something far cheaper is the feeling of being safe. Then, bit by bit, that safety is taken apart and offered back on their terms. That is the engine we are dismantling tonight. Not to instill fear, but to make you fluent in it. Because the sole defense against a hidden method is to see it in the open. But to understand how something so dark became normalized, you have to understand the world that provided the fertile ground for it. A world that, on the surface, was terrified of the exact opposite. Envision the early 1950s. The war has been won. Supermarkets are brimming, and beneath the chrome and optimism lies a deep primal fear. American soldiers return home from Korean prison camps, transformed. Some lord their captors on camera. Others refuse to leave. The press coins a term: brainwashing. The public is aghast, while the government is something worse: curious. If the enemy could rewrite a man's loyalties using merely isolation, exhaustion, and repetition, then perhaps so could they. Whoever mastered this technique first would wield an invisible weapon. So they funded it. Hospitals, universities, quiet contracts with reputable institutions. The program in America was deemed MK Ultra. The people spearheading it were not caricatured villains. They were patriots, fathers, churchgoers. This detail matters. Those who learned to deconstruct the human mind were convinced they were safeguarding freedom by doing so. Here lies your first modern parallel. The most effective manipulations rarely originate from someone who seems villainous. They come from those who are convinced they are right. Your boss who just wants what's best for the team. The partner who isolates you because they love you. The platform that keeps you scrolling to connect you. Good intentions are not a safeguard. Sometimes they are the delivery mechanism, but a budget and a belief are insufficient to break a person. You need a first crack, a precise spot to apply pressure. Within the Montreal files, investigators found precisely where the doctors learned to push initially, and it was almost too simple to believe. Investigators anticipated something intricate, a drug, a device, a secret only doctors could comprehend. What they found was older than medicine itself. The initial fissure was not in the brain, it was in the need. Every human being is constructed around one quiet assumption, that somewhere, someone is on our side. A parent, a doctor, a voice that assures us, "You are safe, I will not hurt you." We carry this assumption everywhere. We cannot function without it. Cameron understood this, as did those who studied him. They did not attack the mind forcibly. They targeted the assumption underpinning it. Here's how it began. First, they became the source of safety. The white coat, the calm voice, the promise of healing. The patient relaxed. The gate opened. Not due to weakness, but because trusting the person who is supposed to help you is not weakness. It is profoundly human. Only then did they begin to remove the safety. Sleep vanished. Day and night blurred. Familiar faces disappeared. The patient reached for solid ground and found only one figure still standing. The doctor. The very source of agony became the singular source of comfort. This is the fissure, not fear, but dependency. We do not bond most intensely with those who treat us well. We bond most desperately with those who harm us, then rescue us, then harm us again. Psychologists later coined it traumatic bonding, but you already recognize it by experience. It's the friend who cuts you down, then makes you laugh, and you're compelled to forgive everything. It's the parent whose approval was sporadic, leaving you forever chasing it. It's the relationship you couldn't justify to anyone because on paper you should have left, yet somehow you stayed. Those in Montreal did not invent this. They industrialized it, taking the oldest wound a person carries and learning to open it on demand. But identifying the fissure is only the beginning. To dismantle a mind, you require a sequence, a set of steps performed methodically that works whether the subject is a patient, a recruit, or a stranger across a dinner table. And that sequence has a name. Every method they refined followed the same shape, not random cruelty, but a staircase. Each step lowers the person further, and each step feels at the time almost reasonable. It begins with connection. The manipulator makes you feel seen, chosen, understood in ways no one else ever managed. This is the warmth. This is the bait. Then comes isolation. Slowly, the other voices in your life are made to seem like threats. Your doubts are reframed as betrayals. The circle tightens until only one opinion remains. Then comes the rupture. The warmth is withdrawn, suddenly, for reasons unknown. You scramble, apologize, willing to do anything to feel safe again. Finally comes the reward. The warmth returns, flooding relief through you, brighter than before. In that deluge, you cease asking who took it away initially. Connection, isolation, rupture, reward. Repeat the cycle. and the mind reshapes itself around the person turning the dial. Tonight, we traverse every step, and it begins with the most disarming stage of all, the one that doesn't feel like an attack because it imitates love. It does not begin with cruelty. It begins with recognition. Someone looks at you as no one ever has. They remember the small things. They finish your sentences. They tell you that you are different, special, and that they have awaited someone like you. This stage feels like a gift, and that is precisely why it works. In Montreal, before the screams, there was kindness. The doctor sat at the bedside, listened, making the patient feel that finally someone understood the pain. No one else took seriously. Cult recruiters do the same. So do con artists and charming strangers who, within an hour, seemingly know you better than your oldest friend. Researchers now call it love bombing, a deluge of affection delivered so swiftly and wholly that it overwhelms judgment. The human heart was never designed to scrutinize kindness. When offered warmth, our defenses don't rise. They dissolve. Here lies the trap within the gift. The warmth arrives faster than trust should ever be earned. Genuine intimacy is slow, built over time. What you're offered instead is counterfeit, fabricated at high speed, designed to create a debt. Once you believe this person truly sees you, you'll do nearly anything to keep being seen. They are building not love, but leverage. But warmth alone does not equate control. To truly hold someone, you must first ensure no one else can reach them. And so, the light begins, quietly, to dim. Once you are enveloped in warmth, the world outside begins to appear threatening. This transition is never announced overtly. No one says, "I am isolating you from everyone you cherish." It presents as concern. Your friends don't truly understand you. Your family is envious of what we share. That person is toxic. They aim to keep us apart. Every doubt you raise is reframed, not as a fair question, but a betrayal. Gradually, defending the relationship and defending the manipulator become indistinguishable acts. Cameron's patients experience this physically. Locked doors, barred visitors, days without a clock or window. However, the psychological version needs no walls. It works by making those who might warn you seem like enemies until you distance them yourself, believing it to be loyalty. This is the sequence's most vicious mechanism because you construct the cage. You stop returning calls. You defend the indefensible at dinners. When the other voices finally fade, one voice remains, and it has never been louder. That's the point of the narrowing. Not to encircle you with control, but to eliminate every mirror that might reveal the truth. A mind without a second opinion will believe whatever it is told. And now, with no one left to catch you, the hand that built the warmth does the unthinkable. It lets go. Then, without warning, the warmth vanishes. No explanation, no forewarning. The voice that once called you special turns cold. Messages cease. Eyes that once saw you now look straight through you. Replay every interaction, hunting for where you went wrong. This rupture is engineered, not accidental. Withdrawal is the manipulator's most potent tool, because nothing reshapes a person faster than the sudden loss of safety they relied upon. Recall the Fisher from Montreal, the need for someone on our side. By now they've made themselves the only someone. When they disappear, the ground vanishes too. The panic you feel is not weakness. It's your nervous system screaming that you've lost the sole source of comfort left. So you do what seals the trap, You chase, apologize for things you never did, promise to be better, smaller, easier. You're no longer asking if this person is good for you. You're only asking how to make the anguish stop. That is the genius and horror of the fall. The one who created the wound has become the only one who can heal it. When they finally reach back down, when the warmth returns, the relief will seem like the greatest love you've ever known. That flood is the most perilous moment, and it's where we go next. And then it returns. A message, a look, a touch. The warmth floods in, and your entire body responds before your mind can process. The relief is total, overwhelming. Once more, you feel chosen, saved, weeping with gratitude toward the one who broke you. This is the reward, the most perilous moment. Because here's what happens inside the brain. Once safety, taken, is suddenly reinstated, the relief releases a surge more powerful than steady affection could ever achieve. Consistent kindness becomes mundane, but kindness that might vanish only to return, that induces a craving. Researchers term it intermittent reinforcement. It's the exact mechanism making a slot machine irresistible. You're no longer staying for the good days. You're staying for the gamble. The unpredictability isn't a flaw in the relationship, but it's very fuel. Each cycle teaches the same lesson. The pain was your fault, the warmth your reward. You were right to pursue it. So you tighten your grip on the hand that repeatedly lets go. This loop retains people for years, not through love, not even fear, but addiction. But every loop leaves a lasting impression. To comprehend what these cycles imprint on a person over time, we must examine what remains. When the warmth eventually ceases entirely, when it finally ends, the damage doesn't depart with them. Survivors recount haunting symptoms, distrust of their own judgment, questioning what they saw themselves, flinching at warmth, because warmth was the bait. Apologies for existing ensue. This is what the sequence leaves behind, a mind taught to doubt itself. Cameron believed he could erase a person and rebuild them clean. Instead, he created people who no longer recognized their former selves. The manipulator carries out smaller versions of this surgery, and the wound appears identical. The cruelest part is often the survivor blames themselves. How did I not see it? Why did I stay? But you didn't fail to see it. You were placed inside a system engineered to disable the very part of you that perceives. You were not weak. You were targeted. That singular truth, that this was done to you, not chosen by you, is where the cage begins to crack open. Here is what they never want you to know. The entire sequence hinges on one thing, that you mistake the warmth for love and the pain for your fault. Once you can name the steps, the spell loses its power. Recognition is the antidote. You cannot be steered by a pattern you can see. So learn its shape, the recognition, the narrowing, the fall, the flood. Not to live in fear, but so when warmth arrives too fast, demands too much, isolates you slowly, a quiet voice inside you says, I have seen this before. The most dangerous lie was never that you were unlovable, but that you needed them to find your way home. You never did. Let me ask you before you scroll away, can you name the exact moment the warmth transformed into a leash in your life? And if seen coming, would you have left or insisted it was love? Share below. Someone reading may see their own story in yours. If you seek truths most shy away from, the patterns hidden within kindness, control, and the human psyche. Then follow. Our next exploration delves deeper into darkness than this one dared.